Good morning, students. I hope you are all doing good. Let us see what we are going to discuss in today's class. Good morning, students. In previous class, we have seen group 17 elements. We have completed interhalogen compounds. By the completion of interhalogen compounds, we have done with 17th group. And in this chapter, P block elements, we are remained with group 18 elements. Group 18 consists of elements helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon and oganesson. Neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon and oganesson. All these are gases and chemically unreactive. As those are not reactive with others, then only those are called inert gases. They form very few compounds. Because of this, they are termed as noble gases. Actually, helium, neon, argon, krypton, they cannot form compounds with others. We found only xenon compounds. Okay, noble gases are nothing but they are less reactive. Completely non-reactive is nothing but inert. If an element is completely unreactive, that is called inert. If it is least reactive, means only few compounds only it can form, then it is noble. Group 18 consists of elements helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon and oganesson. All these are gases and chemically unreactive. They form very few compounds. Because of this, they are also called noble gases. Occurrence. All these gases except radon and oganesson. Actually, oganesson and radon both are radioactive elements only, and complete information about oganesson is not known to us. So up to radon only we will consider generally. Okay, all these gases except radon and oganesson occur in the atmosphere. Their atmospheric abundance in dry air is approximately 1%. Total all the gases, it is approximately 1% only. Then you can understand how much rare these are. That's why these gases are also called rare gases. All these gases except radon and oganesson occur in the atmosphere. Their atmospheric abundance in dry air is only 1% by volume, of which argon is the major constituent. Out of this one also, argon is the major constituent. Helium and sometimes neon are found in minerals of radioactive origin. Example, pitchblende. These are ores of radioactive elements. Pitchblende, monazite, cleavite. These are all names of ores only. Okay. The main commercial source of helium is natural gas. Main source of helium is nothing but from natural gas only. Majorly we will get helium. Xenon and radon are the rarest elements of the group. This group is itself rare gases. In that also, xenon and radon are the rarest elements of the group. Radon is obtained as a decay product of radium. Radium-226. This is nuclear chemistry. This radium nuclear chemistry will undergo decay to form radon and helium. This is called mass number. This is called atomic number. Left side, what is the mass number? 226. Right side also 222 plus 4. The chemistry which is involved with reactions involved with by nucleus, those are called nuclear. This is nuclear chemistry. Complete new nucleus is going to be formed. Radium is changed to radon plus helium. See, 222 plus 4, 226. Mass number is same. 86 plus 2, atomic number, 88. Here 88. Left side atomic number and mass number should be matched with right side atomic number and mass number. Like that we have to check with nuclear chemistry. Okay. Radon is obtained as a decay product of radium. Radium will undergo decay reaction, nuclear reaction to form radon plus helium. I hope you are clear only. Simple reaction only this is. Radium is converted to radon plus helium. We have to check with mass number and atomic number. Left side and right side. Okay, next. Oganesson has been synthetically produced by collision of californium 98CF249 atoms and 20Ca48 calcium ions. 249 plus 48. 297 we are getting. 3 neutrons. Neutron is represented by 0n1. Neutron is represented by 0n1. How many neutrons are there? 3 neutrons. 3 into 1, 3. 3 plus 294, 297. 249 plus 48, 297. 98 plus 20, 118. Here 118 plus 3 into 0, 0. So atomic numbers are matched, atomic numbers are same, and mass numbers are also same. See, 249 plus 48, 297. 294 plus 3. Because neutron charge is 0, mass is 1, relative mass is 1, relative charge is 0. So 3 into 1, 3. 3 plus 294, 297. Like that we are going to see that one. Californium reacts with calcium ions to form oganesson plus 3 neutrons. Is it okay, ma? Next. Oganesson has its symbol OG, atomic number 118, atomic mass 294, and electronic configuration is radon 5f14 6010 7s2 7p6 7s2 7p6. Only very small amount of oganesson has been produced. Its half-life is 0.7 milliseconds. That means within 0.7 milliseconds, half of the amount will be reduced. Next 0.7 milliseconds, half of the amount. Like that within second, total amount will be completed. That means it is not at all stable. 0.7 milliseconds means very small time. Its existence is very small time. Therefore, mainly predictions about its chemistry have been made. Predictions only, not confirmations of these properties, oganesson properties. Okay? Here, except for oganesson, important atomic and physical properties of other elements of group 18 along with their electronic configurations are given in table 7.12. The trend in some of the physical and chemical properties of the group are discussed here. See, this one, atomic number 2, 10, 18, 36, 54, 86. Okay. Atomic mass increases down the group. 4, 20, 39.95, 83.8, 131.3, 222. Atomic mass increases. Electronic configuration also, except helium, remaining elements electronic configuration is almost, see, 2s to 2p6, 3s to 3p6, outermost configuration 4s to 4p6, 5s to 5p6, 6s to 6p6. Except helium, remaining all elements contain ns to np6. General outermost electronic configuration is ns to np6. But helium configuration is 1s2. Because of its inert nature, it is kept in this group. Helium doesn't react with others. Because of that, it is kept in this group. Okay, even though it has configuration 1s2. So, general outermost electronic configuration of this group is ns to np6. Next, atomic radius. Top to bottom atomic radius increases. 120, 160, 190, 200, 220. Radon was not given because it is a radioactive element. It is also star they gave, see, radioactive. Here they kept star, radioactive. This group has very high ionization enthalpy because they are already stable. What is meant by ionization enthalpy? The amount of energy required to remove electron from neutral isolated gaseous atom is called ionization enthalpy. The amount of energy required to remove electron from neutral isolated gaseous atom is called ionization enthalpy. Here already this group has stable configuration. That's why only they are not reacted with others, ns to np6. If they are already stable, are they willing to donate electron? No chance. So very much high amount of energy is required to remove the electron. So ionization enthalpy of this group is very high, 2372 kilojoules per mole. 2372 helium. This is the smallest atom, na? It is containing high ionization enthalpy. Top to bottom, what happened to ionization enthalpy? Decreases. Because size increases, ionization enthalpy decreases. Helium 2372, neon 2080, argon 1520, krypton 1351, xenon 1170, even radon also 1037. More than 1000 only, all these contain kilojoules per mole. That means very high amount of energy is required to remove the electron from inert gases. I think you have seen these ionization enthalpies. By seeing that, you will understand this energy, this much amount of energy is very difficult to provide to this group. So they will not undergo reaction easily. That's why. Ionization enthalpy 2372. Why this group contains very high ionization enthalpy? Because of stable configuration. Okay, it is very difficult for us to remove the electron from that stable configuration. So very high amount of energy is required to remove the electron from outermost shell. Electron gain enthalpy, very less electron gain enthalpies they have. That is also not negative, positive. Means to introduce that electron, we have to supply some amount of energy to introduce that electron. Generally, electron gain enthalpy is negative because they will gain electron and they will lose the energy. But here, very high amount of energy is required to keep the electron in that outermost orbit. That's why energy is going to be absorbed. Positive values. These are all electron gain enthalpy. Positive means very less. Helium 48, neon 116, argon 96, krypton 96, xenon 77, radon 68. Okay. Density 1.8 into 10 power minus 4, 9.0 into 10 power minus 4, 1.8 into 10 power minus 3. Like this, no particular trend will be for density melting point like that. Melting point unknown. Neon 24.6, 83.8. Top to bottom melting point somewhat increases. Boiling point also somewhat increases. Atmospheric content percentage by volume. Helium percentage is 5.24 into 10 power minus 4. Neon, we don't know correctly. Argon 1.82 into 10 power minus 3. This is somewhat high. Krypton 0.934. 1.14 into 10 power minus 4 percentage by abundance. Radon 8.7 into 10 power minus 6. This is the information given for this group, 18th group elements. Next, observe the electronic configuration. All noble gases have general electronic configuration NS2NP6. That one only now I told. They contain 8 electrons in their outermost shell, which is generally written as NS2NP6. General outermost electronic configuration of this group is NS2NP6, which is completely filled and it is highly stable, except helium, which has 1s2. Many of the properties of noble gases, including their inactive nature, are ascribed to their closed shell structures. As they are completely filled, okay, they don't want any electron to gain or lose electron. That's why they are highly stable. Ionization enthalpy. Due to stable electronic configuration, these gases exhibit very high ionization enthalpy. However, it decreases down the group with the increase in atomic size. Till now, I discussed that one only. Okay, next, atomic radii. Atomic radii increases down the group with increase in atomic number. Top to bottom, the new electrons are coming into new shell. Outermost electrons are coming into new shells. Automatically, size of the atom also increases. Next, electron gain enthalpy. Since noble gases have stable electronic configurations, they have no tendency to accept the electron and therefore have large positive values of electron gain enthalpy. Positive values. Generally, if they have negative values, then only they have good electron gain enthalpy. Here, positive is nothing but we are doing work for that electron to enter into, to keep that electron into that orbit. We are pushing that electron to enter into that orbit. Okay, that is the meaning. This is about electronic configuration, ionization enthalpy, atomic radiant, electron gain enthalpy. Next, physical properties. All the noble gases are monoatomic. Monoatomic is nothing but only one atom is present, because they will not combine with others. Even for them, with them also they will not combine. Helium and helium also will not combine. All the noble gases are monoatomic. They are colorless, odorless, and tasteless. They are sparingly soluble in water, slightly soluble in water. They have very low melting and boiling points because the only type of interatomic interaction in these elements is weak dispersion forces. In gaseous state, we have discussed that three types of forces are there. Very weak forces, van der Waals forces, which are dispersion forces. Second one, dipole-dipole forces. And third one, hydrogen bond. In that, least one is dispersion forces. If they have weak dispersion forces, they are present in gaseous state. They have very low melting points and boiling points. They have very low melting and boiling points because the only type of interatomic interaction in these elements is weak dispersion forces. Helium has the lowest boiling point of any known substance. It has an unusual property of diffusing through most commonly used laboratory materials such as rubber, glass, or plastics. It can diffuse into that rubber plastics and it will make that rubber plastics little bit puffy. Okay, ma? This is about physical properties, and we are going through chemical properties. Actually, they are chemically inert, but scientists found the compounds of xenon. Okay, now we will check that why that xenon is involved in bond and how it is involved in bond. Even what are the compounds of xenon also we will check that one. And very rarely we have krypton also. See, chemical properties. In general, noble gases are least reactive. Their inertness to chemical reactivity is attributed to the following reasons. The noble gases except helium have completely filled NS2-NP6 configuration. They have NS2-NP6 electronic configuration in their valence shell. Completely filled configuration. That's why it is already stable. They are already stable. They don't want to combine with others. They are already stable. They don't want to combine with others. They have high ionization enthalpy and more positive electron gain enthalpy. These are also attributing that why inert gases are not able to react with others. These group elements are not able to react with others. The reactivity of noble gases has been investigated occasionally ever since their discovery, but all attempts to force them to react to form the compounds were unsuccessful for quite a few years. Up to some years, they understood that they are not able to react. In March 1962, Neil Bartlett, then at the University of British Columbia, observed the reaction of a noble gas. First, he prepared a red colored compound which is formulated as O2PtF6-. What is it? O2PtF6-. Sir, here helium is not there. Actually, he first found the red colored compound which is formulated as O2PtF6. This is a complex of platinum. Central metal atom is platinum. Helium then realized that the first ionization enthalpy of molecular oxygen 1175. What is the ionization enthalpy of molecular oxygen, not atomic oxygen? This is O2. O2 already it is in combined state only. Is it correct? In combined statement it is stable. It has 1175 kilojoules per mole of energy, ionization enthalpy. Molecular oxygen has 1175 kilojoules per mole. That means if you want to remove electron from molecular oxygen, almost 1175 kilojoules per mole of energy must be given. Even that is given, and we are able to form the compound of O2PtF6. See, O2 directly molecular oxygen is involved in bond, meaning we are able to remove the electron from molecular oxygen by using this much amount of energy. Then what about the xenon ionization enthalpy? Observe, xenon ionization enthalpy is 1170. That means he got one doubt. As molecular oxygen with ionization enthalpy 1175 kilojoules per mole, as molecular oxygen has ionization enthalpy 1175 kilojoules per mole, as the molecular oxygen ionization enthalpy is 1175 O2, scientists are able to remove electron from O2 by using 1175 kilojoules per mole. Actually, O2 is stable molecule only. Is it correct? O atom is less stable. It is already combined with O to form O2. From this stable molecule, they are able to remove electron by using 1175 kilojoules per mole. Okay, then for xenon also, ionization enthalpy is 1170. For O2, ionization enthalpy is 1175 kilojoules per mole. For xenon, ionization enthalpy is 1170 kilojoules per mole. Almost both are same. How O2 is able to form bond and O2 is involved in chemical reaction, and why xenon is not involved in chemical reaction, like that he got the doubt. Neil Bartlett. Okay, because of the formation of red colored compound O2PT plus F6 minus. Then immediately he tried to obtain this type of compound with xenon also. He tried to obtain this type of compound with xenon also, and he succeeded. Finally he got xenon PTF6 minus. Same like O2, xenon is also involved in bond, as both have same ionization enthalpy. Okay, like that he got the first compound of xenon in the laboratory. See, this is important point, ma. First he prepared a red colored compound which is formulated as O2PTF6. He then realized that the first ionization enthalpy of molecular oxygen was almost identical with that of xenon. He made efforts to prepare same type of compound with xenon and was successful in preparing another red colored compound, xenon PTF6 minus, by mixing PTF6 and xenon. After the discovery, they understood that somewhat xenon can form the compounds. So some number of xenon compounds, mainly with most electronegative elements like fluorine and oxygen. These are highly electronegative and they are high reactive. With most electronegative elements like fluorine and oxygen have been synthesized. Okay, na? The compounds of krypton are fewer. Only the difluoride KrF2 has been studied in detail. Compounds of radon have not been isolated because it is radioactive in nature. That's why. Next. But only identified example RnF2 by radio tracer technique. Okay. No true compounds of argon, neon or helium are yet known. Means these compounds were not known till now. Only xenon, krypton, radon. In that also, xenon only forms major number of compounds. Krypton has only one compound, KrF2, and radon also it is known as RnF2, but more than that it will not be known. Okay. What about xenon fluorine compounds? Xenon forms three binary fluorides, XeF2, XeF4 and XeF6, by the direct reaction of elements under appropriate experimental conditions. By using the temperature condition and pressure condition varying, it is going to react with the fluorine in three types of reactions, and it is going to form XeF2, XeF4, XeF6. Okay, see the reactions, all of you. Xenon gas reacts with fluorine gas. Here we are going to take xenon in excess at 673 Kelvin. and 1 bar pressure, we are going to form XeF2 solid. Xe gas plus 2F2 gas 1:5 ratio at 873 Kelvin and 7 bar pressure. Little bit temperature is high and pressure is also high. We got XeF4 solid. Xe gas plus 3F2 gas 1:20 ratio at 573 Kelvin and 60 to 70 bar, very high pressure. As pressure is very high, they somewhat reduced the temperature. XeF6 we are going to get solid. Xenon difluoride, xenon tetrafluoride, xenon hexafluoride. XeF6 can also be prepared by the interaction of XeF4 and O2F2 to form XeF6 plus O2. Like this also we can prepare xenon hexafluoride, HexiF6, when XeF4 is going to react with O2F2. Okay, ma? At 143 Kelvin. In this way we are going to prepare fluorides of xenon. So the side heating is also xenon fluorine compounds. Okay, next, these properties XeF2, XeF4 and XeF6 are colorless crystalline solids and sublime readily at 298 Kelvin. 298 Kelvin is nothing but room temperature. 298 Kelvin is nothing but room temperature. So at room temperature itself, these solids can be sublimed. They will be converted to gas. XeF2, XeF4 and XeF6 are colorless crystalline solids and sublime readily at 298 Kelvin. They are powerful fluorinating agents. They are readily hydrolyzed even by traces of water. For example, XeF2 is hydrolyzed to give xenon, HF and O2. In what way it is going to be hydrolyzed? Hydrolyzed is nothing but reaction with water. 2XeF2 plus 2H2O gives rise to 2Xe. Xenon is going to be obtained plus 4HF aqueous plus O2 gas. Okay, next. The structures of the 3 xenon fluorides can be deduced by VSEPR and these are shown in figure 7.9. This is xenon F2, XeF2. This is F4. Fluorines are present in the plane. This is above the plane and this is below the plane. 2 lone pairs, 4 bond pairs. This one model comes under AB4E2. This one will be coming under AB2E3. This one is coming under AB6E1. This is coming under AB5E1. This is coming under AB3E1. If you go through chemical bond, your notes, in that for every model how the structure is present, everything was explained clearly by using VSEPR theory and hybridization. Once go through that, you can draw the diagrams easily. These structures are important, These structures are very important. In multiple choice questions, how they will answer, you can think about like that. How many lone pairs are present in XeF4? XeF4. How many lone pairs are present in XeF4? How many lone pairs are present in XeOF4? Okay, what is the structure of XeF2? Linear. This is square planar. This is distorted octahedral, square pyramidal. Like that, you have to remember. Instead of by hearting them, in chemical bond, I have told the tabular column. By using that, if you are able to find that one, it is easy for us to remember also. No need to by heart the structures also. These are all important, ma. Okay, once again I told. Next. The structures of three xenon fluorides can be deduced from this VSEPR, and these are shown in figure. XeF2 and XeF4 have linear and square planar structures respectively. XeF6 has 7 electron pairs, 6 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. E is nothing but lone pair, and would thus have a distorted octahedral as found experimentally in the gaseous phase. XeF6 has 7 electron pairs, 6 bond pairs and 1 lone pair, and would thus have a distorted octahedral as found experimentally in the gas phase. Okay, xenon fluorides react with fluoride ion acceptors to form cationic species and fluoride ion donors to form fluoroanions. XeF2 plus PF5, XeF plus PF6 minus. Here one fluorine is donated by XeF2. One fluorine is donated by XeF2 to PF5 to form XeF plus PF6 minus. XeF4 plus SbF5. Here also one fluorine is donating. One fluorine is donated by XeF4 to form XeF3 plus SbF6 minus. XeF6 plus metal fluoride. From here, metal fluorine is going to be accepted. Fluorine is going to be accepted. Then M plus XeF7 minus. That M metal might be sodium, potassium, rubidium or cesium. These are the reactions of fluorine compounds, xenon fluorine compounds. Simple only. Xenon fluorides react with fluoride ion acceptors to form cationic species and fluoride ion donor. Here this is fluoride ion donor. These are fluoride ion acceptors. Okay, ma? Next, xenon oxygen compounds. Hydrolysis of XeF4 and XeF6 with water gives XeO3. Hydrolysis of XeF4 and XeF6 with water gives XeO3. So these are the reactions. Partial hydrolysis of XeF6 gives oxyfluorides, XeOF4 and XeO2F2. Let us see the reactions, ma. 6XeF4 plus 12H2O. Action of water is called hydrolysis. 4Xe plus 2XeO3 plus 24HF plus 3O2. Next, XeF6 reacts with 3H2O to form XeO3 plus 6HF. Partial hydrolysis means less number of molecules. XeF6 reacts with only one water molecule to form XeOF4 plus 2HF. XeF6 reacts with two water molecules to form XeO2F2 plus 4HF. This is called complete hydrolysis. These are all called partial hydrolysis. These two reactions are called partial hydrolysis. Partial hydrolysis of XeF6. This is called complete hydrolysis of XeF6. Complete hydrolysis of XeF6 will give XeO3, xenon oxide. Partial hydrolysis will give xenon oxyfluorides. Partial hydrolysis of XeF6 will give xenon oxyfluorides. Complete hydrolysis, these two are important, ma. Complete hydrolysis and partial hydrolysis of XeF6, important. Even XeF4 also. Complete hydrolysis of XeF6 will give xenon chloride oxide. Partial hydrolysis of XeF6 will give xenon oxyfluorides. Complete hydrolysis of XeF6 will give xenon oxide. Partial hydrolysis of XeF6 will give xenon oxyfluorides. And xenon fluorides and xenon oxyfluoride structures you have to remember carefully. And in what way you have to practice, I told already. Okay, by seeing these model types, you can understand easily and you can remember also. Is it okay, ma? These are about reactions of xenon oxygen compounds. And finally, physical properties are there. See, very simple. XeO3 is a colorless explosive solid and has a pyramidal molecular structure. XeOF4 is a colorless volatile liquid and has a square pyramidal molecular structure. Okay, ma? This is about physical properties. And finally, we are remained with uses. Helium is a non-inflammable and light gas. Hence, it is used in filling balloons for meteorological observations. It is also used in gas-cooled nuclear reactors. Liquid helium finds use as cryogenic agent. Cryogenic agent for carrying out various experiments at low temperatures. Okay? It is used to produce and sustain powerful superconducting magnets which form an essential part of modern NMR spectrometers. Nuclear magnetic resonance NMR. Nuclear magnetic resonance spectrometers. In that, this helium has found many uses. Liquid helium. And magnetic resonance imaging MRI systems. MRI scans like that you might have heard for clinical diagnosis. It is used as a diluent for oxygen in modern diving apparatus because of its low solubility in blood. In one of the applications of Henry's law, we have seen that helium must be mixed into oxygen gas cylinders. This is only the reason. Neon is used in discharge tubes and fluorescent bulbs for advertisement display purposes. Neon bulbs are used in botanical gardens and in greenhouses also. Argon is used mainly to provide an inert atmosphere in high temperature. Metallurgical process, arc welding of metals or alloys. And for filling electrical bulbs. Argon, it is used in filling electric bulbs. It is also used in the laboratory for handling substances that are air sensitive. There are no significant uses of xenon and krypton. They are used in light bulbs designed for special purposes only. Is it okay, ma? These are the uses of inert gases. Observe them carefully, all of you. Meaning of cryogenic here. Meaning of cryogenic is nothing but it is a science and these are the uses of inert gases. Till now we have seen. Okay. Liquid helium finds use as cryogenic agent for carrying out various experiments with low temperatures. It is used to produce and sustain powerful superconducting magnets which form an essential part and modern NMR spectrometers, magnetic resonance imaging, that is MRI scans like that we say, for clinical diagnosis. It is used as a diluent for oxygen in modern diving apparatus because of its very low solubility in blood. Like the neon uses we have seen, argon also. Once if you read also, you will understand easily. Now, the meaning of cryogenic is nothing but cryogenic is a science that addresses the production and effects of very low temperatures. As liquid helium is present at very low temperature, okay, meaning of cryogenic is nothing but it is a science that addresses the production and effects of very low temperatures. Means what are the effects of low temperature and how we can produce the low temperature. All these details we will study in cryogenic. And what are the effects of that very low temperatures also we will see. Very low 4.2 Kelvin is nothing but 4.2 minus 273. 273 minus 4.2. 269.2 minus 269.2 degrees centigrade. Then you can understand very low temperature it is. Okay. To study these effects at very low temperatures, to study the effects of these very low temperatures, they kept one separate heading that is called cryogenic science. Okay. It is a branch of science which addresses the production and effects of very low temperatures. Okay, ma? And these are the uses of inert gases. By this, successfully we completed group P block elements and term 1 is completed. Term 1 syllabus is completed. I hope you are clear, everyone. What about group 18 elements and why xenon it is going to form bonds? Because of its ionization enthalpy is almost equal to O2. Okay, all these things we have studied in this group 18 ma. So in this P block totally we have studied 4 blocks, 4 groups, 15, 16, 17 and 18. And this is about our chapter. Thank you all. Have a nice day. If you have any doubts, you can contact me anytime. I will clarify your doubts. Thank you, ma. Once again, all of you. Have a nice day.